Ready?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm here with the very lovely Augustine Frizzell. It's great to see you again, and congratulations on the film. It's really. I want to tell you something. When I first saw the trailer for this, I wasn't sure what to think, and then when I saw the film, I was like, oh my god, I had no idea that this is what it would be, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. I thought it was just so much fun, and I think it's a really great depiction of just youth.
Yeah.
And what it's like to be, a teenager and having to kind of fight for everything you get.
Yeah. What was the difference between what you thought based on the trailer as to what it was actually?
I think I thought that it was going to be kind of like Spring Breakers.
Okay.
In a way, and then I realized it was more like a mature version of like the Florida Project.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure people are throwing these things around. I mean, I hate using
it compared to the Florida Project.
But yeah,
that movie's genius. I adore
it. It's almost kind of like seeing those girls grown up in a way, and I kind of love that because there's such a realism to it and an authenticity to it.
Thank you.
Right down to the dialogue, like when they go to the party and they're talking to their friend, and just like the exchanges there. It all seems very, very authentic.
Thank you.
So congrats on that. Well, let's talk about the girls, because the girls are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the chemistry that they have together. Now, is that one of those things did you find that before you started shooting, or did that kind of happen organically as you were going?
We found that in the chemistry read. So they've done auditions by video separately, and then we brought them into the room together. And I had this idea, having seen their tapes, that maybe they would work well as a team. And getting them in the room together, it was obvious. I mean, there are certain things you can do on set to help that, but 90% of that they just brought. They were just comfortable. They had the right energetic mix, but you can always direct it. Just tell them a little more eye contact, or don't look away, or just scooch in just a little closer, or softly say this thing, like whatever. So there's certain things, but most of that they brought.
Again, it just feels very natural what you brought out of them, and I was very, very impressed with how you were able to translate that on screen. So, first and foremost.
Yeah.
But when you write something like this, because this isn't like a traditional narrative, it doesn't have like a traditional type of story to it. Is that more challenging, or in some ways is that more freeing to be able to do that? It's probably more of a challenge.
It was really challenging. Yeah, and so I think when you're dealing with subject matter that hasn't been approached within this genre.
Right.
So, I mean, yes, there are a million teen comedies. There are a million teen comedies with women at the front, but there weren't any comedies, gross out stoner comedies with young girls and no money. Like, it's like a really specific category. And so to tell the story about people who come from no money, or come from a situation like what I grew up in, where parents are out of the picture, we're living on our own, we've had to drop out of school so we could pay rent, so we don't get evicted, so we don't become homeless. Like, these are very real issues. But that was my teen experience, and I just wanted to tell my story. And as you're deciding to tell your story, you decide on the genre in which to tell it. And I could have chosen any number of genres, but I just love gross out, stoner comedy is about teens being stupid and doing dumb things and go, a day in the life. And, and I felt like representing Dallas and the DFW area and the heat and that, the riding the bus and dealing with the people, it was all something that I wanted to see in a film. And so I set out to do that. But because I'd not seen it, and because you are balancing the line of heavy drama, real life stakes in a comedic form, it became a balancing act, but also it became something that I felt needed to be simplified in a way, so that there is that way in that the audience member has to find a connection, because not everyone comes from this environment, so you have to be able to get in there and find that aspect of relation to the characters and familiarity. So that's why the story is super simple. There's very little to the plot. It's just that they just want to go to the beach, because anything more felt like it just started weighing it down, and it felt like it was dipping into this dramatic territory that I did not want to visit.
Yeah.
It was hard.
So I want to talk about Kyle Mooney, because I love Kyle Mooney.
Yeah, me too.
And I actually had the pleasure when he came in town for Brisbee Bear, I did his Q&A, and I know that you guys were talking at that time, right? Or was that about something else?
Brisbee Bear, when was that? That was...
I want to say that was like a year ago. How long ago did you shoot this?
We shot exactly a year ago, so in August of 2017 we were shooting.
Yeah.
So it was not long before we started shooting that Kyle came on board. I know he was doing the press tour for us.
Right, yeah. So what was the influence for that? Because, I mean, I think he's great.
Yeah.
And I think that he's one of those comedic actors that can balance kind of the drama and comedy really well. But what made you decide to put him in this?
He's just so funny. I mean, hands down, he's just so funny, and I knew he would step in and do a good job.
Yeah.
It's a difficult role, and very few people could balance that comedy with that likability, you know, because he's a sleazeball, but he's still a bit of a sweetheart, you know, he's a sleazeball. But, you know, he's so funny. I just loved him from Saturday Night Live. I loved, like, his videos that he's been putting on YouTube.
Right.
And I just thought he'd be great. He was.
Yeah. And I also love the fact that you shot this in Grand Prairie, and it's such a kind of Dallas DFW type of movie because... You know, like, I loved seeing Courtney Ware's name at the end as editor, because I love Courtney. She's so great.
She's the best, yeah.
And just all the different people that worked on it are all, I mean, Liz Cardenas, like, all these different people that I've seen through the years at, like, the Dallas Film Festival.
Yeah.
So it was great seeing a movie that we could, like in a way, like, Dallas could say, like, this is almost like our movie that we can embrace. Yeah, so thank you for that.
Of
That's
course.
great. And I know that's not always the easiest thing to do, to be able to shoot around here. So were there any challenges in that, being able to shoot locally?
It was actually great being able to shoot here. I don't think we could have made this movie anywhere else. The community is so supportive.
Yeah.
They want to be part of it, you know, and I think it is that representation. We haven't seen it. We rarely see it. I mean, we see, you know, vast plains of Texas, and, you know, we see the West Texas desert, and you know, there are a few movies, Richard Linklater's movies touch on, like, suburban Texas life, but not that many. And so I think people get really excited about seeing their place and their people on screen. It's very exciting. I love that type of thing. But yeah, it was great shooting here.
Yeah.
People are supportive. They let you use their business. We did a little bit of shooting here at Spiral Diner, and, you know, they rally. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Now, you've done shorts. This is your first big narrative feature. Now that you've kind of got that under your belt, do you have that feeling of, like, I can do anything? Like, I mean, because this is a big thing. I mean, to be able to do this. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Every project you go into is kind of scary, and you hope you can do it. But I think for me, it's just remembering, once I get on set, I kind of do. It just feels right. Like, I kind of know what to do. And then the times when I don't know what to do, those are the really exciting times, because you try and figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough to be surrounded by a supportive team, they're there to help you, not just with practical, but just with the confidence. You know, it's like, oh, you've done this, you can figure this out, or you've got a good DP who throws out shot ideas, or the actors will do something, and you're like, oh, that was more brilliant than anything I could have come up with. But yeah, I mean, it's always scary, but I definitely feel the most comfortable in this field that I've felt in any film that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, well, I have to say, for a first-time narrative feature, it's an incredible effort.
Thank you.
I can't let you go without at least asking one quick question about the Ryan Reynolds HOME ALONE project.
Okay, sure,
can you tell us anything about that? Or I know it's really early stages right now. Yeah.
It's it's a version of the Home Alone franchise, which is one of my all-time favorites. We watch it every year. We watch it at Christmas time, and so I love that. But it's a stoner comedy. It's got a lot of gross-out humor, but it's the funniest thing I've ever read, start to finish. It's just non-stop laughs. It's like funnier than anything I could ever think about writing. It's hilarious, but it's also really sweet, and it's a Christmas movie, and one of my dreams was to make a Christmas movie. And so it fits into all of those boxes. It's just super sweet, and it's warm and cozy, and, you know, it's got this great heart to it. It's going to be great. So we'll start shooting that hopefully early next year.
Cannot wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful to see you.
You too.